You might have heard of Fujifilm for its contribution to the imaging industry. But do you know that Fujifilm is one of the top most diversified business groups in the world that is involved in numerous business sectors including pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, printing ink, and many more? What could be more exciting for a company that is famous in the photography industry and also contributes to bringing in new technologies and innovations? Fujifilm is not only making cameras but also are making vaccines for COVID-19. Despite being almost a century-old company and going through a lot of ups and downs, it is still in the market and growing through making revenue from its various businesses. In this video, we're going to talk about the history of Fujifilm, how they contributed to the betterment of mankind, and how they survived this long. So without further ado, let's jump in.
At Camera Zone, our mission is to provide the most reliable updates of photography and cinematography gear, including expert opinion based on their performance and value.
If we talk about the establishment of Fujifilm, the name of Daicel Corporation comes first, as Fujifilm began its journey as a subsidiary company of Daicel in 1934. It was named Fuji Photofilm back then and established to maintain photographic films. After the first 10 years of establishment, the company grew fast and quickly started to branch in other sectors. Along with photographic film, the company also started producing motion picture films and X-ray films. On top of that, it also stepped into the optical glasses, lenses, and equipment market. Its business further continued to grow as Fujifilm also entered the printing, magnetic materials, as well as electronic imaging sector after the Second World War. Another important milestone in Fujifilm's history is its joint venture with Rank Xerox in 1962. This partnership is also known as the most long-standing joint venture between a Japanese and an American company. As Fujifilm was already in the imaging business, partnering with Xerox resulted in an increase in power in the imaging product business and also helped to maintain profitability when other businesses were down. Now let's take a look at Fujifilm's overseas sales. It established its export sales division in 1956, and soon after that it was able to pocket 27 export agreements in Asia, North America, and Central America. Fuji understood that it had to come up with film and paper that are compatible standard processors worldwide in order to increase sales. The company responded quickly by making the first amateur slide film in 1966 and was able to make all of its imaging elements such as photo papers, chemicals, and films fully compatible with international standards by 1969. With that improvement and a highly expert sales team, foreign sales charts started to go up for Fujifilm. Fujifilm was also heavily invested in research and development activities. In the 1980s, it came up with computed radiography, which is a tremendous upgrade to traditional radiography. This machine was able to decrease the exposure of radiation during the tests, and thus it gained great acceptance in the medical field. However, as time went and its sales upgraded, it entered the top tier of competition and ultimately faced a big player in the market, Eastman Kodak, which dominated the US market. Though Fuji was enjoying the leading position in the camera film market in Japan, it was looking for ways to beat Kodak, particularly in the US market. However, none of its strategies were much fruitful until 1984, when it gained the opportunity of being the title sponsor of Los Angeles Olympics. The opportunity was first proposed to Kodak, but they turned it down. Using this opportunity, Fujifilm gained huge market exposure, which resulted in brand awareness of the company among the consumers. Later on, they started offering cheap camera films, which further increased their popularity in the US market. Consequently, Fujifilm was able to gain substantial market share in the US, and they also established a film factory over there. One of the most noticeable corporate practices of Fujifilm is they never stopped spending on R&D and they never stopped exploring new markets. Fuji introduced its DS-1P camera in 1988 at the Photokina Fair. This is the first camera that used a semiconductor memory card to save data. Besides, It also launched Fuji's Simple High 8 camcorder in 1993, which was the most compact camcorder back then. The early 1990s was the golden period of Fujifilm as its market was growing both at home and away. Even in 2001, the world witnessed a spike in film. However, there's a saying that goes, "A peak always conceals a treacherous valley." The imaging industry experienced substantial changes in the few subsequent years as digital technologies hit the market. As a result, global demand for photographic film plunged significantly, and in 2010, the demand went down to less than a tenth compared to its demand in 2001. The digital wave had caused many companies to fall down, and Kodak is one of them. Then how Fujifilm survived the market shrink back then? After 2001, when the company went through a rapid drop in sales from the most profitable product, Fujifilm took instant decision of changing its business model through innovation as well as external growth. Shigetaka Komori, who joined Fujifilm in 2000, took a 6-year plan named Vision 75, aiming to save Fujifilm from falling and regain profitability. As a step of implementing the plan, Fujifilm had to cut costs by decreasing the production line and getting rid of seamlessly unnecessary plans. It also reformed its R&D to keep pace with the digital camera industry. However, Fujifilm could ultimately realize that the camera sector is not going to be as profitable as before because of modular design of cameras, which required minimal expertise to assemble and make a camera. So there were seemingly little market barrier, and the number of competitors were increasing day by day, making it a less profitable and price-sensitive industry gradually. So finally, Fujifilm started thinking about investing in business other than photography. It carefully audited its capabilities and innovation. The company also has a huge amount of in-house technology which could match the demand of other business sectors. Taking all those into consideration, it took the decision of investing in cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, as well as highly functional materials like LCD screen, which was a growing market back then. With the help of already available technologies, Fujifilm came up with Fuji TAC, which were high-quality films used in producing LCD panels. Today, Fuji TAC is leading the LCD polarizer film market. Fujifilm also decided to step into the cosmetic market as it has over 70 years of experience working with collagen, which was further processed to be used in producing photo film. As a matter of fact, collagen is also the main ingredient of our skin. Moreover, it has huge experience in oxidation process, which is connected to photos being fade out with time as well as aging of our skin. As it had readily available expertise on human skin, Fujifilm started its cosmetic lineup named Astalift in 2007. To further ensure the sustainability and reduce dependability to imaging sector, Fujifilm also went for a business alliance with Toyama Chemical and Taisho Pharmaceutical to step into the pharmaceutical industry in 2008. As a result, Fujifilm was the new company by 2010, making only about 60% profit from its imaging business, whereas the amount was around 60% from the imaging division back in 2001. And this is how Fujifilm survived the sales decline and diversified in other industries. As of now, there are 2 operating companies in the Fujifilm group. On top of that, there are more than 300 business entities, along with multiple shared services companies for ensuring the growth and sustainability of Fujifilm. There are only a few companies in the world that are operating nearly for a century and still making profits, and Fujifilm is on the top tier of that list. The company always looked for ways to bring in new innovations, always adapted to technology breakthroughs, and diversified its business when needed, and all these factors contributed to where Fujifilm stands today. Do you think this great company can make its way to the next century? Let us know in the comment section.
Thanks for watching. We always crave to learn more. If you think we missed a product or another needed to add, we'd love to hear yours.